Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to be discussing with you about form. All right. So we have the HTML forms. We're going to be discussing about HTML forms. Now, HTML form is used to collect user input, just as simple as that. Used to collect user input. So if you have registered in a particular website, you have used the HTML form. Alright, so the user input is most often sent to a server for processing. Alright, so whenever you register on a particular website, you put your name, your email, you put all those, fill all those fields. You click on the submit button, your data your data is transferred into the server for processing, maybe sending to the database for storage or things like that. Alright, but we're not going to be going into that. What we are going to be going is how to use the HTML forms. Alright, now let's move on. Okay, so we're going to be making use of the form element. Alright, so the form element is a container for different types of input elements. So we're going to be having input element inside the form element. The form element is a container. So without talking too much, let's just create a form element right here. Okay, so this is what the form element looks like. All right, so inside the form element we are going to be having different type of input elements right there. All right, so the first input element we're going to be having is the text. All right, okay, so display a single line text input field. All right, so let's move on that. Okay, so we're going to be having inputs for text. Okay, so we have type text. All right, so obviously we're going to be having a label right here. Okay, now the label stands for the caption on the user interface. All right, so this particular input here is supposed to have a caption, so it's the label. We're going to use the label for the caption for this particular input. So here we have label. Now the caption here will be first name. All right, now I'm going to have a placeholder also. Now also the placeholder is kind of the in the inputs, like a text that should be visible in the input section. All right, but before I do this, let me just show you what this gives us. So just save that and go to our browser, and we have this here. So this is the first name, and we're going to type in the input right there. Okay, now let's move on and put in the placeholder. So we have placeholder here, so we have enter your first name. Okay, so I'm going to show you what this is. So you see that this faint looking word is what they that's what the placeholder is actually doing there. So you just put in there and start writing the name, but you see that faintly looking words telling us to enter your first name. So that's the label right there. Okay, so another input that we can actually work with is the radio button. Okay, so okay, let's have email and password before the radio button. Okay, so just have here label for password, so we just put pwd representing password. So I'm gonna have password right here. So I'm gonna have input for password. Okay, so I'm gonna have a placeholder. So I'm have enter password. All right, and nextly we're gonna have label for email. All right, so I'm just gonna have email here. All right, so we have email. Okay, so we have input for email. I'm gonna have a placeholder for enter your email. All right, now let's go check it again. Okay, so we will load this and we see that we have first name, we have password, and we have your email. All right, so I'm just gonna use a break line tag to make this look presentable. So we just put a break here, and we put a break here also. What was that? All right, let's go check that again. Okay, so we have that here. So we have first name, which is David. All right, password, you see that it's not visible, okay, because we're using the type password. Now email, okay, so we have email David, okay, so at, all right, Gmail. So that's it. Okay, now let's move on to radio button. Now the radio button is really simple. So the radio button let a user select one of a limited number of choices, so you're only allowed to choose one. Okay, so let's just have that here. We're going to choose in between HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. All right, which one do you love using the most? All right, so I'm going to have a paragraph here. So we have choose your favorite language, web language. All right, okay, so we're gonna have that right here. Okay, you know what we're gonna do here? We're gonna take that off. All right, and we're gonna have that here and create another form for that. All right, make our work look really nice. Okay, so we have input type will be for radio. Okay, so we're gonna have ID for HTML. Also we're gonna have name. Yep, so we have favorite underscore lang. All right, so language, that's a short form. And lastly we're gonna have value, and the value HTML. All right, so just as simple as that. So that's how it's going to be slated. Now let's just have next in the label for the caption. Okay, so we just have for HTML. All right, so just put HTML right there. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this and paste it, then paste. All right, so this is gonna be CSS. All right, this is gonna be CSS, and the caption will be CSS. All right, next JavaScript. All right, this is gonna be I'm just gonna copy what I have here and paste it here, and this should be an uppercase JavaScript. All right, so let's go check that and see what that gives us. Okay, so we have choose your favorite web language. Okay, so we have HTML. You see that is only going to allow us to actually select one. So if you select HTML, if you choose CSS, it's not going to pick HTML anymore, and if you choose JavaScript, it's not going to pick CSS anymore. So that's just what this radio button is all about. All right, it enables the user to select one of a limited number of choices. Okay, that's what that is all about. Now the next one we're going to be having here is checkbox. Okay, now let's move on to our code editor. Now, what is actually checkbox? Now, checkbox let the user select 0 or more options of a limited number of choices. Okay, you can select none or you can select all. So that's just what it means. Now, I'm just going to put here, choose your favorite hobby. Okay. Alright, so I'm just going to put here a paragraph here. So this is for checkbox. Also choose your favorite hobby. Oh, I got that wrongly spelled. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this. Okay, so we actually similar to what we have. Okay, so firstly we are omitting something. We didn't declare the form. All right, so this is firstly supposed to be declared. All right, so then we change this to checkbox. All right, so firstly I'm gonna put swimming. I love swimming, but I don't know how to swim. I just wish I could swim, but I don't know. Hobby. Alright, so value should be swimming. Alright, so I'm gonna have my label right here. Okay, so this is for swimming. Just put swimming. Okay, so I'm just gonna put swimming right here. So I'm just gonna copy this and I'll paste it, and here I'm gonna change this to coding. Yeah, I know some of you guys will like this. Yep, so we have coding. I love coding, and another thing that I love doing, I love teaching. Alright, so here I'm gonna have code. So this is for code. Alright, so change this here to coding. Alright, so here we're gonna have dancing. Oh, I love dancing. I dance a lot. Yeah, I love dancing. It's one of the things that just ease the stress of the day. I just wake up, come back from my duty office, and then I look the time and start dancing. Alright, now the next one is reading. Yep, I know a lot of you guys don't read books, but I love reading books. Alright, so we have reading. Alright, so just put here read. Alright, I just saw something. So yeah, we have reading. Alright, to change this to dance. Alright, so let's go and check that out. So favorite hobby. Now you can choose one. Okay, you can choose all. So this is what the checkbox looks like. Okay, just allow the user to select more options, or you can select none. All right, so this is what the checkbox is all about. Okay, so very easy. Okay, so now I'm just going to explain to us lastly, before we move on, let's just put input for button. Okay, so type is submit. Alright, name. Alright, so we have submit, and value we have submit. Alright, so let's go check that. Alright, so this is it here. So I'm just gonna put a break line tag there. Okay, so not looking bad. Okay, so this is just what that is all about. Now, I'm just going to explain what this name attribute is here for. Now, if you notice that each input field must have a name attribute to be submitted. Okay, so if the name attribute is omitted, the value of the input will not be seen at all. Okay, so it's very important that you have a name attribute on each one of the inputs. All right, and it also helps in submitting to the server. All right, it helps in submitting to the server. Okay, so this name attribute helps in submitting the data coming into the input into the server. So obviously we should also include this name right here. So it's important that you do that. All right, helps in submitting the data into the server. Okay, just put name here. So that's just all what this is all about. Now also in the form element itself, we have action. All right, now this action attribute is that's where the information will be processed. Okay, so that's where the information will be processed, and we said that the form is actually there to receive data and send data to the server for processing. So how do we send data for processing to the server? How do we send the data to the server for processing? We send it through using this action attribute. Now the server language is going to be passed into this, and maybe we have index.php. okay, so PHP is a server-side scripting language. So this data coming in from the input will be sent to this index.php for processing. All right, so that's what is all about. So action is an attribute, all right, and we use it for sending the data into the server for processing. So that's all what this is all about. So we have done quite a lot. Okay, so we've done the name, text, email, password, radio button, and checkbox. Then we have the submit right here. So that's all you need to know about the form element. So thank you for your time, and I believe you have good understanding of what we did. Okay, so if you have a problem, don't hesitate to hello. All right, that'll be all for now, and see you in our next session. Bye for now.